Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is a tutorial on how to make a Spiderman WebShooter, like a WebShooter that really works. And this is a bit of a fun project, and you don't need a whole lot of materials to do this. So yeah, just put it on your wrist like this. So yeah, and it really shoots an ersatz web. And let me show you kind of how this works here. You load it onto the trigger, and I'll leave it open, but you would close it to shoot it. But I'll leave it open so you can see. You pull the trigger, and the rubber band releases, and that thing flies. Fun project, easy project, and the string, which is the web, you actually would put in here. You put it all in here to store it so it shoots out. Easy project, a lot of fun. You just need a few basic materials, some cloth or some leather or some vinyl or something for your wrist, and you could improvise that. Half a sheet of foam board, not even half a sheet of foam board. Some paper to roll this tube. 2 toothpicks, one here and one is a pivot. And a rubber band, well, and some string. I used kite string, it works really well. And that's the whole thing. Kind of a fun project. I have a template you can download. The link for the URL to get that template is in the description of this video. So I had a lot of fun making this, and it took me a long time to figure out how to get it to work right, so the string folds up and so it actually shoots well. And I'll show you some video of me shooting it. In this particular case, this one shoots pretty far. And we can launch into the draw. Oh, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have questions, anything like that. I have a lot of projects like this, all kinds of projects. And thank you for subscribing and watching. So let's launch into the video on how to make the Spiderman WebShooter. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and treasure shades, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, rattle rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, print up the template package for this project and cut out the parts. Make sure you print it at 100%. Cut out all the various parts. And then, use them to trace onto foam board, a sheet of foam board, to trace out the various parts, because we want the parts in foam board. And you can trace them, or you can just actually glue stick them down, or use a glue adhesive or something and just stick them all down to the foam board. There is actually one piece that you don't glue down. I'll show you that piece. And then cut out all the various parts. Now this is the most important piece here, is the shell for the actual web shooter. You only cut through about half of it. When you're drawing those lines, only cut through about half of them, so you can fold it like this and then you don't have to tape it again. Now let's put in the trigger assembly. There's one quarter moon section that goes down into it, and this piece is going to go on top just like that. But we're going to put 2 quarter moon sections, glue them to that. Now what all of this does is it makes like a little area for the trigger to smoothly glide in. But you take a look at that, see how 1 quarter moon there is up against the slot, glued down, and then 2 quarter moons go onto the top piece here like this. And then we glue that down, and you'll kind of see how that goes in a second. So I had to shift those over a little bit because those quarter moons aren't up against the edge. You need about 1/4 of an inch there, right in here, so it sits correctly. You'll see. I'll show you. So just glue those pieces together and then assemble it together like this. It glues on right like this. Now there's a little slot in there that the trigger will ride in. So now see, this is the trigger assembly. It's going to go in like that. So put it in and then punch a hole through the whole thing. Pierce the whole thing with a hole. Because we're going to put a toothpick in it, right, like this. Put the toothpick in it, and before you glue it, give it a try and test it to see that it runs smoothly. like that. Locked, unlocked. Locked and release. So put the toothpick through it, that's the hinge, and then, you know, glue the top and the bottom. And then I don't show it, but cut off those toothpicks after the glue is dried, the hot glue. So now we want the pin that the rubber band will fly off of. So pierce a hole in the end like that, right in the center. Put a little glue so it stays, and then put a toothpick in there and trim that toothpick down too. It should stick out about 1/4 of an inch. It's not too critical. If you see Spider-Man web is shooting towards the ground, that pin is too long. Cut it shorter. But something like that is good. So now let me just show you real quick how it's, we don't have a string mounted on it yet, but it goes just like that. It goes on the pin, and then it goes on the trigger just like that. And watch, I'll fire it. So all you do is press that trigger and it releases. Works really good. I did a whole bunch of them. I fired it a bunch of times. It works good. So let's make the cover. The masking tape works as a hinge. That's why we're doing this. And then put it right on like this as a cover. See how it's a hinge now? And this thing's just about done. We're going to make the gauntlet, the wrist piece. But see, now you got a hinge so you can load it and then you close it to fire it. But you need it to open so you can load the rubber band. So this is a piece of, I used poster board. You can use paper if you wanted to curl a piece like that. And there's a circular disc that comes with the kit. You make that out of foam board in the back. And then just glue it down to the front like this. The string will go in there. So now let's make the gauntlet. You can use leather, you can use vinyl, you can use cloth. You can improvise any way you want. This isn't mandatory. This is just how I did it. Cut a piece to fit my wrist and with 1 inch or 2 of overlap, so we could apply Velcro strips to it. You know, I put the one side of the Velcro on this end, and I had put the other end over on the other side of the vinyl, so I can lock it on my wrist. And then we applied Velcro to the bottom of the WebShooter, and that's going to go on the wrist piece just like that. So see, now we close up the wrist piece and stick that WebShooter box right to it, and that's it. Almost done. But that's how it looks. So the rubber, to get yourself a piece of string 10 to 12 feet long, even longer probably, tie one end to the rubber band and make a hole in the cup like this and tie the other end of the string to it. I don't show it, but that's what you do. So the string goes from the rubber band to that little hole you just cut. So loosely wrap it around your fingers like that and then tuck it all into that cup, that cylinder. And then one more time I'll show you how to load the rubber band. When you load it on the pin, the part where the knot is goes right where the pin is. Just right where the knot goes, right on the pin. So capture it on the pin and then put it on the trigger, and I'll show you that right now. You'll see that. Right like that. It's ready to shoot. So you can close the cover and shoot it. All right, let's just paint it up to look very Spider-Man. A lot of blue, mostly blue. And then a couple of sections red like this. And then let's draw a spider and a spider web on that. Do my Spiderman black and my spider web is gold. And that's it. Oh, I also painted that trigger silver. So that's it. Your Spiderman WebShooter is done. One more shot we'll take. Have fun. Lots more projects on my website and here on my YouTube channel. Nunchucks on the top, the Assassin's Creed hidden blade in the middle, and a rubber band gun at the bottom. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up.